or more in specific, our movement routines and regimens. Because it doesn't always involve exercise, right?
That's true.
I mean, sometimes it's
mental health, spiritual health, physical health.
All of these things. I jump out of bed and I have dumbbells right by my bed. I read some writings on my wall, literally, and I do some dumbbells to kind of wake me up. And then I finally got to the point where I'm running every single day. Well, I remember last August, it was like, just walk a mile. That was just last August. Like, I was just like, all I got to do is walk 1 mile and then I can go home. I wasn't watching what I was eating. I wasn't concerned about anything else. I was just like, I'm just going to walk 1 mile a day. And I had just quit my job. And so I had all this time, and finally it was like that. That's when the regimen started, kind of. But it wasn't until March where I really started to run.
Yeah.
And now I love it, and I want to go out more, and I would have ran more than 4 miles today if I had had the time, if we didn't have other stuff to do today.
Yeah.
Things change and things shift, and so I know that for me, it was like, well, if I don't do it right this time every single time, or if I do it right 3 times in a row and then I fail to do it the 4th time, then fuck it, I give up. Right? It doesn't matter anymore. I've done that. Sure. Yeah. And so I feel like there's a lot of finding the right amount of exercise, finding the right amount of movement, finding the level at which you will consistently commit is very important.
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask you about how you have committed and decommitted in the past, how you've used modification sometimes as an excuse in the past to not do things, and how you use it now in a way to develop a regimen that works for you.
Yeah, definitely. So I feel like about 2 years ago at this time was, July 2017, and I was using the term modification as an excuse to stop what I said I had committed to. So I would commit to not eating sugar, or I would commit to eating a mainly paleo type of diet, and commit to some kind of workout, and I would be into it, and I'd make all these strides. Then something would come up pretty dramatic, and I would get stressed about it, and I would completely stop doing a majority of those things. And I would use the term with you, well, I've modified it, and I'll go back to it at some point. And I was very justified about it. And yet, deep down, I didn't feel that great about it, because I basically was breaking the commitment I made to myself and using it as an excuse. So after getting help with that and being committed to stopping sugar in particular, and eventually releasing meat and cheese from my diet, I don't use that term that way. Now I use it for when I work out. I have a trainer. He'll assign me certain things to do. So based on what he thinks I am capable of and what he's seen I'm capable of so far. We've been working together since January. It's now July. It's gonna come up on July. I know I have the strength to do certain things, and at the same time, my biggest goal is to continue and to keep going and keep making sure that I feel well, keep in tune with my body, and listen, oh, okay, you need this now, you need that now, and to do it without stopping. For instance, he'll assign me something like 25 reps of, some kind of arm work or something like that, and do it 25 times for 3 sets. And so I notice after the first set, and that's at 65 pounds, I'll notice, that seems like too much. It seems like too much to really sustain and to come back and do 2 more days a week, because I'm doing it 3 days a week. So what I'll do instead is I'll do 15, or if he had said at 85, then I'd do it at 65. I'll do it a little bit less, but I'll do it. And that's a real modification now that I can get behind and support myself with and use consistently, and produce real results I feel in my body. And I never feel like I'm failing myself because I'm not stopping.
It's true. It's so true. And I am absolutely one who loves to give up. I mean, there's a part of me that has loved to give up, because I know all the excuses and I know all the external things that are going on that I will be able to say, well, We had a good run.
Right.
Not gonna happen.
I mean,
Sorry.
there's a voice in my head that does say that for sure. Like,
But
you know you're gonna end up in the drive-through at some point.
And I just love the idea that you're like, I want to continue to do this consistently. I know myself well enough that if I push myself to the point of being hurt, like no
stop.
pain, no gain, I will stop, and I will look at it through this negative light, and I will say I'm not doing that anymore.
Yeah.
And instead, you say I'm going to do a little bit less. With the running, the pain that I feel, I think, is still just muscles working themselves out. It's the fact that I still carry a lot of weight to me. I mean, although if you saw me 6 months ago, you wouldn't say that. But it's a matter of finding what feels right. And ultimately, sometimes, like, my ankle is hurting, and so it's time to make my way home, and I'll walk home, and I'll just call it a day. And sometimes that comes at 3 miles, and sometimes that comes at 6. But that's an insane amount of miles compared to what I was doing 6 or 8 months ago. So always finding, and for me, it's not an all or nothing, right? So I have other things going on. If I have to work in the morning, you know, and here's something that I did when I worked in the morning. I wouldn't be able to work out in the morning, but I would bring all of my stuff. I would bring my shirt and my shorts, and I'd just stuff it in my bag.
Your shoes and your glasses.
And my shoes and my glasses, so I can have them. That's Jerky Boys. Go look it up for all you youngsters. Sol Rosenberg. And I would just do it afterwards. And usually I'd be really, really tired after work.
Yeah.
But I was like, so where's the park? I would just go and I would Google run park or something like that, hike. And it would shoot me over here. And the next thing I know, like 2 weeks in a row, I'm going to this park after working a 7-hour shift. And I'm like, this is great. I love this place. And so it became this sort of fun little game to find new places to go to and keep it fresh and keep it interesting and to find it to be consistent but also not boring, you know? You do too much, you're going to get bored. You do the same thing, you're going to get bored.
Yeah.
So that's been something that's helped me consistently
That's awesome.
stay out there, is to find different, or even go backwards. The loop that I take this way, then I'll go backwards sometimes.
Awesome.
You know, or if I have a chance to make a left turn instead of a right turn, I'll be like, yeah, I'll make a left turn. You know, I get lost, but I always find my way back. I got here, so.
Yeah. I've been using that with work this week, having consistent time at the gym. This is a newer routine that I've tried on this week, and I'm like, okay. And I didn't have, because I wanted to use it while I had work to do, so I would have energy to do the work, right? And I was going to sing and perform and be with all these people and all this energy. And usually my days are mainly to myself. So I'm like, okay, I think going to the gym will be really helpful. And I did that 3 days in a row. And then it was going to be just you and I today. So I did it anyway to keep that habit up. And I can tell the difference. I can tell how much better I feel and how much more balanced I feel in my thoughts, in my emotions, and in my body. And it's been a big takeaway for this month, is how helpful the physical routines are helping my mental and emotional health. Yeah. Like, really, it's really that what people say. Like, I'm living it. I can't make it up. So
yeah.
I'm really grateful.
It really helps to keep it up and for me to find what's easily consistent.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. So I will do it.
So please, if you like what you're hearing here, like, share, and subscribe with your friends. Rashida and John, listen to our podcast, and we'll talk to you next time.
Thank you so much for checking it out.